Right now, nearly 15 degrees more just being in the sunlight. So this doesn't just pertain to being in the asphalt, it has to do with being in the shade as well. The beam actually hits the mountain, and that prevents us from being able to see a clear picture of what that rotational couplet looks like. But you can see that storm in question. This is a little bit different than what we saw earlier this week on Tuesday, where we had kind of this stationary front that was draped across the U.S. and dumping snow in many places. Here, these areas where you're seeing higher amounts of drier air, that's inhibiting the development of any tropical storm that wants to move through that area. And we've had some sub-freezing nights. This is going to be one of the colder ones we've seen, and when you add that wind in, it really blows a lot of that heat off your body. This shear track basically just shows you where we've detected on radar that the storm has had some strong rotation, and you can kind of see where that rotational track has moved. Those lighter blues indicate where it's been just a little bit tighter, a little bit stronger. The southern tier is where you're going to see the most, 3 to 6 inches. Yes, in a place like McConnellsburg, in the mountainous regions, you could see a few inches more. We've got Belleville at about 348. If you're in Belleville, you need to be in your shelter right now. Basements are also great, by the way. If you have a basement, that's probably the best place to actually be, because you're actually below ground in a sturdy location.
Second time's the charm here. That's okay. I was actually not built to be LeBron James. It's okay. That was not my calling in life.
Underwent surgery to amputate that flipper, which was severely damaged. Rescuers say Cooter B is a real firefighter, and are glad she is back in the wild where she belongs.
This story was worth it just to have you read it that way. Have you seen any today?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you, James, I've probably killed like 20 just standing out here over the past hour. So
thank you so much for watching ABC 27 News Saturday morning. We'll have more local news tonight. Have
a great day.
And make someone smile.
Local forecast with meteorologist Jackson Chastain starts now.
Well, yesterday was a warm day. We had a lot of sunshine that allowed us to get into the low 80s. That is before cloud cover built in overnight, and that's thanks to a high pressure which is over parts of northern Maine, the Nova Scotia region, that part of Canada. But the easterly flow that we're getting over the ocean that eventually arrives over land has advected a lot of moisture, and as a result, we're seeing a lot of low clouds, thanks in part to some upsloping. Mifflintown, one such location, looking pretty gloomy as we start out the day. Thankfully, on the temperature side of things, it's not that bad. It is cool. We're sitting around 60 in most places, and we will warm beyond that. 59 degrees, the current temperature in Hummelstown. Dew points a little elevated, but not really humid. The clouds will stick around through the later part of the morning. We'll see some breaks at times that will reveal more sunshine, and then that cloud cover builds back in later in the day. So not anything that's going to be particularly pretty. It certainly feels more like fall than it does summer on the last day of summer. Temperatures only getting to about 75 in the afternoon, but all in all, comfortable, not complaining about that. I'm sure a lot of people do have a few complaints about the fact that it just hasn't been very rainy outside. In fact, for the month of September, we've only seen a little over half an inch of rain. And when we take a look at the year as a whole, the deficit down to about an inch and a half. So we have some catching up to do. It's not a crazy, terrible situation, but we do need some rain changes. Thankfully, we have a couple to look forward to. One is on Tuesday with a cold front that's going to be pushing through. The second one is with a low that would be moving through on Thursday. Now, there's a little bit more disagreement with that between the long-range models, so we're going to be keeping you posted. But at the very least, Tuesday offering something up. We need it. Now, this drought map does not necessarily raise alarm bells, but it is something that where if we give it a few weeks, it could get a whole lot worse. So watching that, the 7-day forecast to show you that temperatures will be relatively comfortable. And I just want to point out really quick, in the tropics right now, we have Gabrielle. That is going to be a fish storm. It is going to stay way out in the ocean, so not affecting us at all. But tropical storms historically have been quite helpful to us, and if you look at the tracks so far this season, basically everything has stayed over the ocean. Chantal, the only exception here, and then one storm down to the south and to the west. But we're definitely not seeing a whole lot that is going to bring us significant rainfall. Fingers crossed, Seth, that this week is a little bit more fruitful.